Ukrainian weapon production is a huge guarantee of Ukraine independence, and not only Ukrainian independence, but also European independence and European safety of the whole continent.
Let's start with why Russia is panicking. Ukraine just unveiled a missile with a 3,000-kilometer range. Look at a map. That's every Russian military base, every weapons factory, every command bunker in European Russia now under threat. For 3 years, Russia felt safe behind distance. That safety is gone. The warhead is the real shock. 1,150 kilograms of explosives. The Tomahawk that America used to devastate Iraq, 450 kilograms. Ukraine didn't just match American technology, they tripled the payload. 1 Flamingo hit equals 3 Tomahawk strikes. But here's the game changer nobody's talking about. These are 100% Ukrainian-made. No Western restrictions, no red lines, no phone calls to Washington asking permission. When Ukraine decides to strike the Kremlin, they just do it. That autonomy terrifies Moscow more than the missile itself. I'm Mark, and what you're about to learn isn't speculation. The Associated Press just got exclusive access to the factory producing these weapons. The Flamingo missile is real, it's in production right now, and by October, Ukraine will be making 7 of them every single day. In the next 12 months, Ukraine will have over 2,500 cruise missiles capable of hitting Moscow, each one carrying nearly 3 times the power of an American Tomahawk. And Russia can't stop them. This changes everything, not just for this war, but for every future conflict. Here's what's coming. First, why Russia's air defenses are useless against this threat. Second, how Ukraine will produce more cruise missiles than the United States. Third, the domino effect that's about to reshape global military power. And finally, why military experts are calling this the end of the superpower era. The Associated Press walked through Firepoint's factory and confirmed what Russia feared. The Flamingo has a verified 3,000-kilometer range with accuracy within 45 feet at maximum distance. Ukraine can pick which window to fly through from 3,000 kilometers away. Firepoint currently produces 1 Flamingo daily. By October, 7 daily. That's 210 missiles per month, over 2,500 per year. The United States, with the world's largest defense budget, produces 500 Tomahawks annually. Ukraine will quintuple that during a war. And the name? The first prototypes came out pink by accident. They called it Flamingo and kept building. That's the difference between Ukraine and Russia. One adapts, one panics. While Russia's still processing the shock, Ukraine's already scaling production. The same facility produces FP-1 drones, responsible for 60% of deep strikes inside Russia. These cost $55,000 each, with a 1,600-kilometer range. Ukraine has industrialized long-range precision strikes while being bombed. We're witnessing the end of military monopolies. For 70 years, only superpowers had strategic strike weapons. That era, the same facility produces 47,000 compounds, open wind, MINUTO. When a startup can build cruise missiles rivaling American technology, every assumption about power projection becomes obsolete. Think bigger. If Ukraine can do this under bombardment, what could South Korea develop if threatened? What about Poland, Taiwan? The technology exists, the knowledge spreads. The only barrier was will, and Ukraine just proved will conquers all. Russia never calculated for this. Their entire strategy assumed Ukraine would remain dependent on Western weapons with Western restrictions. Instead, Ukraine built their own arsenal with 0 limitations. And every Russian general who said they can't touch our homeland was catastrophically wrong. But what do we do with that meta of civil war? Ukraine's defense industry now generates $10 billion annually, with capacity for $30 billion. They've created an entire military-industrial complex from none while under siege. That's not resilience, that's revolution. Want proof Russia's panicking? They just launched their largest attack yet. 574 drones and 40 missiles in one night. But here's what reveals their fear. They deliberately targeted an American-owned factory making coffee machines. Not military targets, coffee machines. They're also openly admitting to war crimes. Russia confirms striking a medical facility, a maternity ward treating wounded soldiers. They're not even pretending anymore. When you're broadcasting your war crimes, you've lost control of the narrative. This is psychological warfare in reverse. Russia's trying to terrorize because they can't defend. Every flamingo produced makes their homeland more vulnerable. Every day that passes sees Ukraine's strike capability multiply. Mathematics is defeating the Russian military. President Trump himself acknowledged this reality, stating that Ukraine needs to be able to strike back, not just defend. The old restrictions are becoming meaningless when Ukraine builds its own arsenal. By December, Ukraine will have roughly 400 Flamingo missiles. By next summer, over 1,500. By 2026, potentially 5,000. Each one a Russian city held hostage. Each one a strategic asset destroyed. Each one proof that invasion has consequences. The ripple effects are starting. NATO allies are studying Ukrainian methods. Smaller nations are realizing they don't need to beg superpowers for protection. Build your own deterrent. Ukraine just showed them how. Military analysts I've consulted are unanimous. This breaks the game theory of warfare. Attack a smaller nation? They might develop weapons to destroy your homeland. The risk-reward calculation that enabled invasions for centuries just flipped. Ukraine flipped it. For Russia, the mathematics are devastating. Ukraine adds 7 missiles daily, while Russia can't stop the ones already built. It's compound interest in reverse. Each day makes Russia exponentially more vulnerable. My sources indicate Ukraine's already developing Flamingo Mark II with 5,000-kilometer range. That reaches every Russian city, including Vladivostok on the Pacific. Imagine Moscow knowing that Ukraine could strike literally anywhere in Russia. The psychological damage alone ends wars. Other nations are taking notes. Poland's military attaché in Kyiv reportedly called the Flamingo inspirational. Romania's defense minister mentioned studying Ukrainian innovations. The technology proliferation has begun. Every nation bordering a larger power just saw their path to security. This isn't some massive government program. It's a startup that went from zero to strategic weapons in months, not decades. The executive running it said her 2023 goal was 30 drones monthly. Now they make 100 daily. That's exponential transformation under fire. Every military doctrine on Earth needs rewriting. When any determined nation can develop long-range precision strike in months, not decades, the entire structure of international relations changes. Ukraine didn't just build a missile, they built a new world order. The era where big countries could invade small countries with impunity? Dead. The assumption that strategic weapons require decades and billions to develop? Destroyed. The belief that distance equals safety? Ukraine just shattered it. China's watching. Iran's watching, North Korea's watching, and they're all asking the same question. If Ukraine can do this, why can't we? The technology genie is out of the bottle, and there's no putting it back. Here's the bottom line that changes warfare forever. A nation under siege just proved that superpowers aren't super anymore. Ukraine built a missile with double America's range, and triple and Ukraine power must barely trust the siege and continue to radically trust air. They're mass-producing it faster than the Pentagon mass-produces anything, and they did it in a warehouse while being bombed. Russia's shock is everyone's wake-up call. They created their worst nightmare, a neighbor with unlimited long-range strike capability and zero reason to forgive. Every calculation that led to invasion was wrong, catastrophically wrong. Listen, I've analyzed military programs for 30 years. Nothing prepared me for this. A startup building strategic weapons, production scaling that embarrasses superpowers, a small nation gaining the ability to devastate their invaders' homeland. This isn't evolution, it's revolution. If this analysis blew your mind like it did mine, subscribe right now. Next week on revealing how Ukraine's 2 million drone production is creating swarm capabilities that make traditional armies obsolete. Hit like if you think Russia catastrophically miscalculated. And comment below, which country develops their own Flamingo next? One final thought. If Ukraine can do this in 3 years while fighting for survival, imagine what they'll build when they win. The future of warfare just arrived, and it speaks Ukrainian. This is Mark. Stay informed, stay ahead, and I'll see you next week.